We're here at Hometown Radio USA with our Independent Music Spotlight. I'm here with the one and only Keith Swinney. How are you doing today?
Doing all right, sir. Appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So tell me a little bit how you got started in music.
Well, I was probably about 11, 12 years old, and my great-grandmother, she played guitar, and something to my great-grandfather, which I never knew, never had the chance to know him. His name was Barney Burris, and I guess he taught Grandma to play and taught all the kids. So my aunts and uncle and my grandma, Richie, supposedly even played some back in the day. So it was kind of like a family tradition type thing. And I kind of started off in it when I was about 11, 12 years old. And Grandma, she always wrote songs. My great-grandma, Maxine Wilson was her name. And she always wrote songs and poems and things like that, and kind of got me started into songwriting into things too. So that's kind of where I got started.
Awesome. So you've been playing music with a band for a long time. So
yeah.
You may or may not remember when I played with the Hollow, we played a show called Prairie Fest a couple times.
Oh yeah, those were good days.
And you were up there. I think it was the Highway 50 band or something at the time. Terry Hahn was playing guitar for you. So that's the first time I actually saw you play.
Yeah.
So, and you were young back then.
I actually started out when I was 15 years old playing with Brian Collins, Jack Addison, Tim Pointer, and I can't remember who all else was in our group at the time. I was 15, and the name of the band was Who's Your Daddy? If anybody remembers the Who's Your Daddy band.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man, brings back memories. Yeah. Makes me feel old, though.
You and me both, brother.
So, talk to me about your current lineup with the band now. Who all you got playing with you and what you doing?
So, after 23 years, Jack Addison actually suffered from a stroke this last October. And so he had played lead guitar for me for years. Right now I've got Tony Bryant, which owns the Jake Studio in Paris Crossing, Indiana. Tony is playing lead guitar for us. Over here on my right is a U.S. Army man, Mr. John Ferguson. John plays bass for us. Joey Stakelin on drums. And we're kind of just doing more of a four-piece type thing for right now. Shirley Bryant, Tony's wife, she actually sings harmony with us on some shows, and
great,
and adds some female vocals to some songs, and we're still staying busy and still making music after all these years, and things are always changing. But when it comes to stuff that I record and stuff that original songs that I put out, everything pretty much I try to keep it the same. It's always got that traditional, country sound to it.
You can hear it in your voice, even talking. So let's talk about a couple of songs. We've been spinning them here on Hometown Radio. So we're going to talk about one called Borderline Perfect. So tell me how you came up with that tune.
Well, that was a song that I wrote for my wife. And it's funny, it's like her and I, we came together in 2007, and I don't know. My wife is from Mexico City, and I went straight out and bought this Spanish guitar, and this little tune just came to me.
You were feeling inspired.
I was feeling inspired. Yeah, she put the song in my heart, and so that's kind of where it came from. We've actually recorded it on two different albums. We actually had an album that was titled Borderline Perfect, and the first album cut, it was more of what it does sound like live. And I wanted to go back on this record here, down to Jake, and put out a version of this song that was more mariachi and had the trumpets and the Spanish guitar and the whole nine yards. And I think we really pulled that off with this cut of it. But it's one of those songs that at our shows, if I ever had a hit song, I think it would be Borderline Perfect. Because there's songs that I've written that I've played at shows, and I'm like, do I ever play that song again? Because nobody reacts to it.
Right.
But the moment I kick that song off, people get up and start dancing, and it always has that same reaction every time. So it's been a successful song for us.
So what I was told once is if you do have a hit song, you better hope it's one that you really like, because you're going to be playing it forever.
Yeah.
So here we're going to play a little bit of Keith Swinney, a little Borderline Perfect here on Hometown Radio USA.
Uno, dos, tres. she's beautiful, but her beauty's not condemned from her heart to her soul. It's so visible, and I can't understand how any other man could ever done her wrong. Now she's my hot jalapeno, sweet senorita, she's my baby doll. And she's borderline perfect for me. I never thought I'd ever find someone who'd ever make me so happy. I'm falling in love with an angel from above who's from south of Santa Fe. And she's borderline perfect for me. Well, I tell her each night as I hold her tight, te amo. With a lovely accent and her broken English, she says me love you so. And I say, baby, I know it's hard to love a gringo who no habla español. Oh, but give it more time. You teach me yours, I'll show you mine. It will be alright. 'Cause she's borderline perfect for me. I never thought I'd ever find someone who'd ever make me so happy. I'm falling in love with an angel from above who's from south of Santa Fe. And she's borderline perfect for me. Someday that Rico Suave doesn't take my Chiquita away. It would break my heart, tear my world apart. She's my everything. 'Cause she's borderline perfect for me. I never thought I'd ever find someone who'd ever make me so happy. I'm falling in love with an angel from above who's from south of Santa Fe. And she's borderline perfect for me. Yeah, I'm falling in love with an angel from above who's from Mexico City. And she's borderline perfect for me. Yeah, she's borderline perfect for me.
So we're back here with Keith Swinney at Hometown Radio USA. Just heard a little bit of his music there. So talk to me. You've had the chance to open for some major acts. So tell me about some of your favorite folks you've met that way.
Well, I was really blessed as a kid. Like I said, starting out in the music business, Jerry Gilpin from Versailles had M&M Music Productions, and I went to school with Jerry's boy, and he had told Jerry about me playing, and there was a school talent show that was coming up, and anyways, long story short, Jerry came out and heard me and loved what I did, and in his promotion, he booked shows in Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and different venues, and he was partners with Rich Michelle. They used to book the Little Nashville Opry in Nashville, Indiana. And so through those two guys there, I mean, they put me out opening up acoustic shows for so many big-name acts over the years. And, you're talking Kenny Chesney, Brad Paisley, Toby Keith, a lot of the big-name hitters back in the day I got to work with, which was an awesome opportunity for me. But one that I always brag about still to this day, and John could testify to that because I do about it every show, was I was 16 years old, and Gilpin was looking for an act to bring to Osgood, Indiana at the Jacksonville High School. And I kept saying, Jerry at the time didn't know a whole lot about country music. He was kind of breaking into the whole thing from the business point of view. And it's like, I said, Jerry, Merle Haggard, you ought to get Merle Haggard up here. And he's like, oh, I don't know if that would go over. And I'm like, it's Merle Haggard, Jerry.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to hold people in there. You could sell tickets for $100 a ticket back in the day, and it would be sold out. I'm telling you, Merle Haggard. Well, Rich actually booked a show with Merle Haggard in Zanesville, Ohio. And, within probably a month or two of me and Jerry having this conversation, Jerry says, hey, I got you that show with Merle Haggard. And I about flipped out. I'm like, are you serious? So Zanesville, Ohio, that would have been in 1998. I've just showed me age.
I'm older, I guarantee.
But we opened up a show for Merle Haggard out there, and that was something I'll never forget. We get there, the band's there, we get to hang out and meet the guys in the group, which are all phenomenal musicians. And we did our sound check, and the promoters are saying, hey, listen, Merle's not here. And what he does in every town is he's got a little SUV that he pulls with him. He unhooks his SUV from the tour bus and goes on little adventures and goes through pawn shops and whatever else, just kind of explores. And I'm like, that's cool. They're like, yeah, that's cool, but he's not back. He should have been back already, and it's like they were getting nervous. So as this getting closer and closer and closer to showtime, they're really getting nervous, and they're like, Merle's not here yet. I'm thinking, oh, he's pulling a No-Show Jones.
Yeah.
Another one of my heroes. But anyways, long story short, as we get closer and closer, they're like, we're going to give you a signal, so keep looking over during your set. If we motion for you to keep going, keep going. I'm thinking, there's 4,000 people here to see Merle Haggard, and if they get stuck with Keith Swinney, they are going to be upset, all right? But anyways, our last song that we had on our set to do anyways, I looked over, and they gave me a thumbs up. So I finish our song, thank everybody, and and I walk off stage. As I'm walking off, Merle's walking on. He walks up to the microphone, strums one chord, and says, "Could be holding you tonight." Goes right on into it, and it's like, man, he's Merle Haggard. He's been doing
this for years.
His life, yeah. He don't need no sound check. He don't need to be. So I was kind of upset we didn't get to meet him at that point, but I told my guys, and I'm always real cool about, I don't want to, freak anybody out, think, oh, here's a stalker or something, and I try not to get all starstruck by people. I just try to be cool and calm and collective with them, but it was Merle Haggard, so it was a little hard to do, but I told my guys, I said, let's just get in line out there. At the end of the show, they had a line for the fan club. We'll get in line, and we'll just, we'll be respectful, and we'll get to meet him that way. So we got in the line, we got right up to the door, and his bus driver or manager, whatever, steps out and says, well, that's it, folks. We got to hit the road. We got a show tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And everybody was just like, oh, man. And I don't remember who was it that spoke up first, if it was my buddy Russell McGuire or Vaughn McGuire that played dobro for me. One of them spoke up and said, hey, this is the boy that opened for Merle tonight. Can he get an opportunity to meet Merle? And the bus driver or manager, whatever it was like, hang on a second. So they walked back up on the bus. They came back out, and they're like, all right, come on in. So they let me go on to the bus, and which, I talked with Merle for a little bit and hung out there. And then he signed a guitar that I have, which I'll probably be buried with that guitar. Yeah.
Right.
But it was just a cool opportunity and a story that I'll be telling forever. And, one thing I'll never forget was our conversation was, one piece of it was I was going on and on about, how I grew up listening to traditional country music, George Jones, Keith Whitley, and Vern Gosdin. And I said, and a guy by the name of Merle Haggard, you ever heard of him? And he's like, oh, Merle Haggard. He's like, I remember him back when I was living his life. He's like, now everybody just runs it for him, he said, and hearing some of his stories over the years about how the time that he spent in prison and the size of the cell that he was in, I heard him in one interview say that it was the same exact dimensions of his room in his tour bus. and he felt like in a way he never
in
left
prison
that
again.
cell. He was
Right.
always kind of in prison, you know, which was kind of a depressing way to think about it.
It
But,
is. It is.
But, you know, I can understand that.
So let's talk about another tune on your CD here. Now That It's Over.
So Now That It's Over, that's one of those songs I would always write trying to think of guys like Merle Haggard or Vern Gosdin or Keith Whitley, you know, some type of tune that they would have come up with or that they would have wanted to have cut. And, you know, you write from experience, and I'm not sure, you know, probably had a lot of things along the way, people that I've, you know, lost or whatever, girlfriends, whatever, that I kind of fueled from on that. But my main drive was probably trying to just write a sad old country song. And I tried my darndest. Like I said, Vern Gosdin was always one of my heroes. And I remember going down to Nashville, and I actually got the song to T. Graham Brown, you know. And it'd have been awesome to have T. Graham cut it as well. You know, it'd been really cool. But it's like, I was kind of like, hey, by the way, do you know Vern Gosdin, by the way? You got a connection? If you do, can you get that to him? You know, he's probably thinking, oh, sure, don't want me to cut it. But he probably listened to it and thought, that ain't for me anyways. I don't know about all that.
So we're going to spin that right now. We're on Hometown Radio USA. Now That It's Over.
Now that it's over, where do we take it from here? Do we hold on to the friendship and the love that has grown through the years? Will we turn and walk away, never think twice, and give up and move on with our lives? Well, to me it sounds so easy, and I look at you and see the love left in your eyes. And I wish it was over, now that it's over, but I can't get over the love that we shared. And if you were gone now, why's the feeling so strong now? It's really over. Help me get over you and me. Tell me you don't love me, you don't want to see me anymore. Say you found another who can love you like I never did before. Tell me lies and hurt me one last time, and turn around and say goodbye. But don't you look at me, I don't want you to see these tears fill my eyes. I wish it was over, now that it's over, but I can't get over the love that we shared. And if you were gone, why's the feeling so strong now? If it's really over, help me get over you and me. If it's really over, why can't I get over you and me.
All right, we're back here, Hometown Radio USA. We've got Keith with us, and we'll learn a little bit about him. So one thing that I notice on Facebook is you play praise music at church.
Yeah.
So I also do the same. So talk to me a little bit about the whole praise music genre for you.
Well, it's been a blessing to be a part of. What we call New Wine is our praise team there at the Osgood First Baptist Church. And it's been an experience because I've stepped out of my, little box or realm or whatever with doing the hardcore traditional country stuff, and the honky tonk music, the rock and roll and stuff, playing in the clubs and different things, and learning some more of the contemporary stuff. I grew up listening to a lot of, George Jones, Vern Gosdin gospel albums, and Hank Williams, just a more traditional country type gospel stuff, but working with Ashley Anna King and Pam Vollmer, John Ferguson over here. John plays bass for us as well in New Wine. We've tried to branch out and do a little bit more of the contemporary stuff. The problem is with me, which is a good thing in this group here, because Ashley does 50-60% of the singing, and I can just kind of kick back and play a little rhythm, play a little guitar, but the problem is with me, whatever I sing,
sounds traditional.
It kind of sounds country, So I kind of try to, and I've even had, we're not getting into names, Johnson, don't get nervous. I've even had people say, I like it better when you don't sing in your cowboy voice. And it's like, well, thank you, but that is my voice.
Right.
So I've tried to adjust a little bit to that, in the performances and the songs, but what a blessing it has been. And there's songs that I've listened to the first time through, we're going to work this one up or work that one up, and I'm like, nah, that's not me. And then you listen to the song, and then you get the message, and you're like, I really love this. This is good.
Yeah, so that's what it's about, the message. It's not, at least to me, it's not the music, it's the message and reaching the folks in the congregation that are there listening. So that's a great thing that you're doing. So let's talk another song.